Alright, good morning guys. So we're gonna just air down to 25 down here and just get a start. We're gonna make our way up to O'Toole's. We're actually currently at Merrington's campground just because of how late we got in. We didn't want to experiment with the very, very light crossing down at the junction point. So we just air down to 25 now. We're gonna head over to O'Toole's campground. We'll see how we go. In case you don't already know, the current version as of today, which is 22nd of Feb 2025, the BYD Shark doesn't allow you to go into any off-road modes while towing, which means we don't have an off-road traction control system active to be able to use. Don't know how that's going to implicate basic terrain, so we'll test that in a moment, because there's a couple of climby sections and it gets a little bit slippery sometimes out the exit. I don't think there'll be any issues because all four wheels will be on the ground. So power delivery is fine. What I am worried about though is I may not actually be able to go into they have like a water crossing mode. So when you're going to traverse water, like a good depth of water, you're supposed to activate it, which turns on the engine and probably stops water back pressure coming in from the back. But obviously then you've got air, it's sucking air in through the intake for the petrol motor. So we'll see what happens there. The wading depth is 700. I'm a little bit taller than that because of the bigger tyres, but we're just going to play it safe and try not to go anything deeper than 600 today and go nice and slow. This video is probably not about crossing water in the Shark more than anything. It's just more of a track that we have to get past in order to get to where we want to go. So you'll see it, and then we'll unhitch a trailer at O'Toole's and head up a couple of known tracks around here. We'll start off probably on Army track, and then we might go up and try S-Track and a few other tracks that I know well. They'll put all this through its kind of paces. And now we got Wal here, who's going to be the new and upcoming driver of me old Addy. How does that make you feel, Wal?
Scared.
Why?
Because every time I touch this car, something breaks. That's why.
I drive it all the time. It never breaks on me.
Yeah, when I touch it, something goes malfunctioning.
I've done 100,000 kilometres. Nothing ever goes wrong. And then you drive it for 500 metres and then
something goes snap. Perfect. Our trip to WA. He'd been driving it the whole time. I get in it, drive it. Once I put the window down, it snaps the internals in the windows. I think.
Oh no, I've never had a problem with this thing. It's been so good. And granted though, it's getting on in age, so.
Like making it so I can fit in the steering wheel area would be nice.
I'm small. Actually, that is something I'm surprised about. There is actually quite a lot of passenger room in this. In comparison to the C-Line 6, it actually feels like there's a little bit more whisk space in the C-Line 6. But height-wise, I mean, yeah, it feels tall, but it doesn't feel as tall once you're in it. It is a bit odd. All right, ready to rock and roll, why? We'll have something when we get to O'Toole's.
Oh yeah, because we're only going from here to O'Toole's.
Yeah.
How far is O'Toole's?
So, Australia discovered a new species of spider, right?
Mm.
That is like a new species of funnel web. That's twice the size of the Sydney funnel web. Just as dangerous. Guess what they called it?
What?
The Newcastle Big Boy.
That's such an Aussie thing.
I know, right?
The Newcastle Big Boy.
The spider, yeah?
Yeah.
Most venomous spider in Australia now.
And they call it the Newcastle Big Boy. Now, because we don't have off-road modes available to us currently in the current firmware, if I have any problems, I might have to get you to come out
And push.
and just unplug this.
Okay.
Because if
Not wading into the water.
No, but I'm saying if you unplug this, it doesn't think the trailer's on there,
Okay.
and I can go into an off-road mode to drag it up.
Any snacks I can have?
Snacks.
What would you like? I gave you a snack.
I already ate it.
You re-ate it.
You want another one?
Yeah.
You want one of those? What do you want? Have a look in the front.
I'm trying to look for my Oreo.
Come here.
This is White's sleeping area. You're sleeping in the back. How was your first night of sleep in the back? Yeah, White, come back, come do a review. So, how did you sleep?
Good.
You need to stay on camera for this to work. Would you sleep in there again?
Yeah.
Nothing to say?
No.
Okay, there you go. There's a review from my son. Would sleep in there again, has nothing to say. Comfort driving. So in comfort driving, weighting protection, it gives you a a warning, give you a little picture of the shark going through water. Yeah. So this is what I'm worried about.
What's wrong?
It won't let me go into it while I'm towing. That's my issue.
Oh, it keeps turning it off.
Just 1 second. So I'm just going to disconnect the trailer for a sec, guys. Alright, towing mode off. Yeah. Alright. I would rather the waiting protection be on without trailer mode, just in case something goes pear-shaped here. It's actually fine. It's like that deep. You want to jump in?
Yeah, if you want me to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good to know that it can detect the tree there.
I'm just going to go back into an on-road mode. Yeah, here you go. So this is in an on-road mode, guys. You feel that?
What about EV only?
That's on-road. That's an on-road mode. See, here we're skipping.
What
But
about?
if we go into a muddy land mode, watch how much better this is. So my guess about the being in an on-road mode does cause way too much wheel slip.
But what about it in an on-road mode plus in EV only?
Okay, so just going back to an on-road mode to do some testing here, sorry, Will. So if I go to EV mode, go into an on-road mode, everyone's going to want to see sport mode for some reason. I don't know, it's their fascination. Wheels are slipping. That's just wheel slipping, guys.
Way more than when
If I go to normal mode, hang on, accelerate. It goes nowhere on this hill in normal mode, it's weird. So as soon as I go into a... Alright, try in muddy land mode now.
in EV only.
Yeah. Just instant traction.
Yeah.
How weird is that?
It's so weird.
It's like gears on a bike.
It just figures...
It kind of like
Yeah,
is
but-
on a bike.
That's like chalk and cheese. It just goes.
It's a big difference. It's kind of crazy between just a normal mode, a road mode, and the off-road mode. So, trying to...
So they definitely need to patch that because that needs... You need to have the off-road modes while you're towing.
Your tyres back here certainly smell like it.
I was so gentle on the throttle too, but I couldn't get any forward movement from there without going back into muddy land mode. I reckon mountain mode would have done the same thing. I'll go into it now just to confirm.
With the wheels slipping or they're just driving?
Just stopping. I mean, it's not the exact same terrain, but we're still climbing the same gradient.
Yeah.
It just is so much better.
It's definitely a lot
Do you
better.
know what the actual difference between mountain and muddy land mode are?
Yeah, my testing shows that muddy land mode has more power, it feels like, and it breaks the wheel quicker, where mountain mode has less power, and it gives it a bit more time for slip before it actually starts breaking a wheel. It's a little bit odd. It's a weird opposite for the modes, if that makes sense.
Well, I feel like you'd want more power in the, like going up rocky terrain, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would think that. I didn't really do very much testing, so there's going to be more people upset about that.
No, we'll get there.
I've got a lot of plans for this weekend, and we've got not a lot of time to do it, guys. So I've got to kind of be focused on trying to do what I came here to do, since it's a bit of a drive for us to come out, a bit of planning.
We were supposed to be up here like a week ago.
Yeah, we were supposed to be up here a week ago, just things didn't work out. That, and I wanted to be sure we could figure out the off-road traction control modes, like understand them better. Because if we don't understand them
That
better...
was weird. I came over the crest of the hill. I saw the adventure and I thought, where the hell's the T-van?
Oh, because the T-van's all behind the Adventurer.
Yeah.
Well, we're not going to be doing much towing till they patch it. That's a scenario, guys, because of the dangers of off-roading, not off-roading, with dangers of towing without a brake trailer, and because we've got 1.6 tonne of weight in the back, there's no situation here where you should be off-roading and disconnecting the trailer and connecting it, because ultimately there's the huge risk here is that if you need to brake, and granted the truck does have good brakes, but if you need a brake and you got 1.6 tonne of weight pushing onto your ball with nothing pulling that back, that could actually push the car's rear end out to one side down a hill, and it could be catastrophic. Like, I can't even begin to give you scenarios. So even though I've gone and disconnected the trailer to do this test, under no circumstances am I saying that this is what you should do. I'm just demonstrating in this once-off case scenario that this car without an off-road mode is just got one oncoming for towing is quite the problem. I'm actually curious to go back into a road mode. Just going back into a road mode to test more while. So come to a stop, we'll go back into a road mode, normal mode. So this is what you would end up towing, because it's not as steep here, and we'll see when we start getting wheel slip.
What is that horseshoe shaped?
This thing, it's like pressures.
Oh, okay.
Telling me my tyres are lower. You can hear the wheel skipping, like, I don't know if you can hear that, guys, but just driving normally, the wheels are slipping ever so slightly more. Show the wheel actually slipping on your video, on that video. I got Sarah out, maybe try and get some footage of the wheel slipping. Just try and hold a constant 10 kilometers an hour. Oh, see that?
Ow.
Yeah. So that's the difference of a road mode. That's skipping. Then if I go straight into a muddy land mode, you watch this just change. I'll try hold a constant 10. And it just doesn't slip. There's no skipping at all. Like, no, it doesn't feel like the wheels are skipping. I know there has to be some type of sensor that's determining wheel slip to break that wheel pull torque or whatever it's doing to apply the traction control. But it's happening so quick that not even me, like in my mind as a human, can figure out what wheel would be slipping before the car's already doing it. So it goes to show you how much different road mode versus off-road mode is, and why we need an off-road mode. Even if we just have an off-road mode for towing, it doesn't have to be muddy land mode or mountain mode. It could just be going off-road towing mode or something like that. Or maybe when you got a trailer on, it gives you the option to go into that. I still think you should be able to go into any of these modes whenever we want, with maybe an added off-road towing mode, for our own, like as a driver, as a person who's in control of the vehicle, I should have the option to choose whatever mode I want when I'm on the track. Because if I can just drive out of a situation using tech and power that's available on my car, and I'm being software blocked out, that's a big no-no in my opinion. Like, that's crazily a big no-no. Turning left, O'Tools.
Look at this.
So there's left here too, which is pretty flat, shady-ish, near the river, in between patrols.
Yo, what does that thing that like this is a tree?
Yeah, no, right?
Too close to the trailer.
But it's the same distance.
No, that'll be right there again.
Why it's
Can't
not
see on the
level
right
up?
hand side. It looks
Oh,
like
you were gonna.
Well, unhitch, she can.
You're unhitching.
Alright guys.
Yeah, pretty good on this side.
I was actually just unhooking all this, and I forgot I actually wanted to show you guys something. So I actually put in this 12-volt cable that's going into the Anderson in, and handy note, I haven't done it yet, but just be careful if you've got a handbrake, it may not clear the tailgate when you drop it. So if that's up, that would actually hit it and dent it. Haven't done it, but I can see someone else doing that.
Yeah, no, that's the same.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, mate.
No, that's all right. No, you're good. Oh, you suffer from the same issue.
Yeah. If you've got the handbrake up, I'm going to hit the tailgate.
Yeah, so just be mindful of that, guys. I've actually got hidden under here is a 12-volt system that I'm running. I'm testing on this trip. So that's actually charging from the high voltage system under here into the AC. It's doing 40 amps charging to the DC system. A bunch of people are going to be probably telling me that, well, why do we need, you got a high voltage battery, why don't you just get a DC-DC converter? It's true, very accurate, but I'm just very dubious about warranties at the moment. I don't want to touch anything electronic in that car until we know more about what's going on. So the most simplest way for me to avoid that and be able to do whatever I want on the 12 volt, that's my solution. Now, this is all temporary, this is all testing. I've literally put a board into a rubber mat that's sitting underneath everything so it can't move. But the concept will be that I'll actually have two 100SS batteries. I'll open up the case and connect directly to the battery terminals and either run a 24 volt system to the winch at the front, or I'll run a 12 volt system in parallel to the front for the winch. I don't know which way I'm going yet. It's sometimes better just to go 24 because obviously the carrying amps are a lot halved basically. That's going to be my plan, and that'll also give me options to plug in auxiliary and I can draw pretty much up to 500 amps of 12 volt if that's what I want. So that's all in there testing today. I've got 120 amp Andersons going out and splitting off, some to the camper to charge that, some to other accessories. Got my Starlink on the roof. This is all part of what I'm testing this weekend. And then once I get my checker plate hardtop, which will close down, I'll probably build something at the back where all this sits and lives, stays out of the weather. Obviously, some like that wouldn't be waterproof. That might be have an IP rating, but you couldn't probably submerge the battery. So that'll all be weather protected down at the back underneath the hardtop once it comes. But anyway, just thought I'd share my insights. I am in touch with someone in Queensland currently who reached out, and he was actually saying he's pulled apart a lot of BYDs and EV vehicles and actually make DC-DC converters. So basically stepping down the 400 or 800 volt battery, whichever one it is, to 12 volts, and they can do it at like 200-300 amps. But to do that, they have to actually connect onto the traction battery, which is a high voltage battery. And I'm just wondering if something goes wrong with that. We've got 8 years, is it 8 or 7? I'm not sure, but we've got I think it's 8 years of warranty on the battery, or 150,000 kilometers, whichever is reached first, obviously. I don't want to jeopardize that, since that's probably the most expensive part of the car to run my own 12 volt accessories. So rather than touching the traction battery or anything to do with the electrics in this car, put a system behind it, because they can't deny a warranty claim for this, because we're just plugging in 240 to charge and it's outside the parameters of their standard design. What I was trying to explain to you guys before, let's just say you got low state of charge. So this is currently 60%, but you want to charge your car. I was saying to people before, if you're in normal mode, one way is to go to normal mode in park and then to put your foot down on the accelerator and hold down, you need to be in HEV mode, sorry. Can you guys see HEV? Yep. And hold down the accelerator pedal and it will start charging. And you'll get the thing saying idle power generation 8 kilowatts. So now it's charging 8 kilowatts an hour. But the problem is, if I come off the accelerator and take my foot off, it actually will stop. I don't know. I don't even know what the use of that feature is. But I did find out that if you're in HEV and then you go into an off-road mode, so down on the bottom of the steering wheel, if you just go into a terrain mode, like mountain mode or something, it'll actually start the engine anyway in HEV and start charging without you touching anything else. So then you could just get out the car and leave this running. And that's a really, really simple way if you want to bring your state of charge up without having to do anything and letting it idle. And then obviously if I go back into a road mode, it just goes off. We're just heading out. We've got the 3 cars. We've got the Addy, we've got the Hilux, the standard Hilux. So in case you guys don't know the backstory, maybe you're an all-terrain EV only watcher, that car in front of us,
sure where I'm going, but I'm pretty sure it's west out of here, right?
Correct. That's a car I off-road primarily prior to the Shark, and pretty much I go everywhere in that car where most of your modern four-wheel drives have been going. There's not really a track where I've not been able to doing that without like winching or anything like that, then a four-wheel drive could do without winching. That's just got a rear locker or just got traction control. Obviously four-wheel drives have a front and rear locker, different world, different comparison. That vehicle's only got traction control, kind of like the Shark. So that's kind of what we're going to be demonstrating today. You're already probably going to be, it makes no sense to compare this car to that car.
Army truck's the one that goes next to the hut, yeah?
Correct. But for people that are on all-terrain action, they would really understand. They would really understand why I'm doing this comparison, because I'm basically replacing that car with this car, and Wall's probably going to take over driving that car on the channel. So we're not getting rid of the car in any sense, but yeah. But we've got the Hilux behind us too anyway. They're what black Hilux that you guys saw. Oh God,
I've never seen that before. That's usually just like a
puddle. Yeah, that's
trickle.
weird. I mean, it's still a puddle, but yeah. So today, this is probably going to be the real high country-ish test, because obviously the test I did in the high country originally, that was just mainly to figure out where the basic flaws are in the car. We found those flaws, and then we researched why and did some information, try and figure out why it's doing that. And then we went to the test ground to see if we can overcome those flaws or those exploits or whatever you want to call them. We've now figured out how to work around those exploits, so we're comfortable enough to bring it out to do some tracks that we're quite familiar with. So that's what we're doing today. First one up, we're going to do Army track. Don't know if you really know it too well, but there's a way to skip the worst section. So if we get to the end and we need to skip it, we can. Going to use this car on some tracks that we are familiar with will help us kind of figure out what we should be expecting out of the traction control system and comparing. The Adventurer can do the hard side, so I mean it's a good comparison for a soft roader versus off road, because the Shark ultimately is a soft roader. It's marketed as an all-wheel drive. It technically is an all-wheel drive. Yeah, it's hard. I call it E all-wheel drive. So they're a good soft roader versus soft roader comparison. I think once they have, like other people are saying, some type of dual range, and look, it only needs to be like 2 or 3 gears. Like honestly, I reckon a way just to split in half is good enough. But if you had 3, then you could have your highway gearing. It doesn't have a dual range box, literally a 3-speed box. Your off-road, your mid, around town, and then your highway range gearing. I reckon that would be enough to kind of make a vehicle like this work. If they can get the Shark to climb 30-degree ascents like that with traction control working, even though they're power limiting it, a 3-speed box would just be crazy. So, but anyway, we're dealing with what we've got at the moment. Single range, single reduction gear only. Our guess so far, and it's only a guess, it's got to be something like 15 to 1 to 25 to 1, somewhere in that range it has to be. That's just based on physics from the results of actual testing that we've done. But I mean, we're consumer testers. I'm not a technical tester, so what I say could also be very wrong. This is what I think at this stage. A lot to be determined at this point. So, for some history, Wall's actually never driven this track. He's just reminded me, he's actually never driven this track in any Adventurer. I've done this track many times on the left side in this car. So this is his first go up the left side of this line here. So don't be afraid to stay on the power, but just remember, if you start getting wheel slip, coming back off power helps traction control bite back. You'll need to find traction by getting steering wheel input in.
Okay.
Left side's the easiest way. Straight down the middle is the hardest. To the right side, there's a bump and good traction, but the left side is easiest. All right? No worries. The stones are a dangerous thing, guys, so when you're filming, just assume that a stone can come flying out those tyres at any moment.
There's a snake. Oh yeah, there's a snake at the front of the shark.
I want to see this.
No, hang on just a sec. Like, what? Right at the car?
Yep, it's right at the front of the shark. At the shark at the moment. Well, be careful.
No, hang on. Whoa. Hang on just a sec. Hang on just a second. No, Wall shouldn't be doing this, guys. Alright, well, okay, so we haven't got stuck anywhere yet. It's so, still going, so we'll just keep moving along. Keep trying more tracks that I'm familiar with till we find something that the car just can't do, or it's home time, or camp time. Have a look at how good the 360 camera is. It looks like there's a drone on top of the shark. It just looks amazing. at the water power.
Makes you feel like you're at a beach.
But yeah, no, that's look, the 360 camera is very impressive, and they have been used for off-road, despite what I originally thought. I've dealt with 360 cameras before, and I've just been always dubious about them. But the fact you can look underneath, it uses cameras to stitch images to figure this out. It's actually quite handy. This, really handy, left and right. Look at this. You can see what's on your left side and what's on your right side, and just take the whole car out of the equation. This is quite handy, but it takes time to get used to. This is kind of wombat holy.
This is the one we just came up.
I know, but it's...
Dad,
Do you want me to turn this off?
Yeah, you can turn that off.
Dad, click the 2D button.
Just hang on a second.
2D, Mom, there's a 2D button next to the end. Yeah, click that. Yellow.
This could be interesting.
EV only mode. Don't forget the stump. You got the stump there too.
Yeah. Wait, let me... To meet power demand, the mode cannot be switched.
So you need to be straight. You need to be flat.
Yeah, we'll try mountain mode.
If the world would end.
Actually, that.
Sorry guys, the jittering here is actually me this time on the accelerator. It's just because I've got a stump right here I'm trying to avoid. And so the forward backward motion there was completely my fault, not the car.
Whee!
That was me just trying to deal with this screen and the terrain outside. That's weird. That did that in mountain mode though. See, ESP's off. Watch this thing keep going on and off on its own when we're off-road. It just does its own thing. I can't just leave it off. If I turn it off, it turns itself back on. It's weird.
But you need the ESC on, don't you?
No, it's off at the moment, sorry. See? Did you see it flick?
No, that's on.
Yeah, no, that's off. This turn...
It's off.
Yeah, see how it just keeps changing? It's doing it on its own, for no reason. Well, there's probably a reason, but I don't know what the reason is.
I thought you needed that on for the traction control to work.
No, that's electronic stability control. I wonder if the Chinese confuse electronic stability control with an off-road stability control. Like I don't know.
Maybe.
But that should always be off, in my opinion, if that's the one I'm thinking of. Instead, it just does its own thing. It turns it on and off. I can force... Well, it's off now. But see what I mean? It's forcing it back on. And I don't know why. Normally, when I feel like someone's pulling the power, that keeps turning off, which is basically turn ESC on.